viewers. Viewers, it's very important for us to know this, because only if we start asking questions will there be tougher rules enforced, will there be a closer scrutiny by the regulators and those who are in charge of ensuring that safety norms are not violated. Here is another story from October 2019, almost a year ago, and Times of India had reported it, that DGCA had found alarming practices being carried out by some airlines, and there was a crackdown even at that point of time following a spate of incidents and accidents that took place during the monsoon season. Aircraft overshooting runways, suffering tail strikes on landing, that led to then the DGCA investigate what was going on, what was the real problem, and they found that there were some practices being implemented, perhaps like what our expert is just telling us, like Captain Gaurav said. Perhaps that's the kind of practices that were being used simply to save costs, to save a little bit of fuel when a flight lands, and to cut that back on that kind of a cost. Let me ask Captain Amit Singh this question. Captain Amit Singh, DGCA found that 98% of the landings in this specific case were happening in the flap 3 mode. Is that normal? If not, how concerned should we be?
Well, safety is a matter of balance between production and protection, as I've been saying, and it is a very common line. Anything in excess will lead to harm. Now, safety is basically governed by Annex 19, the Safety Management System. So it is a system, in a sort, it is a quality control of safety, which has a plan, do, check, act mode. So it has a feedback also. So when we have a SOP, now we need to see if the SOP is working for us or not. Now we get a feedback, does it work most of the time, is it safe? If it is not working, then we need to go back to the drawing board and revise it, then again implement it. Here, if we go as per our whims and fancies, then we are compromising somewhere. Now, the role of the regulator is that they are responsible for the risk level taken by the operators. The operator has a safety management system. They need to analyze all the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, as per the IQ requirements, and push it to the regulator. The regulator will ultimately decide, yes, this is acceptable to us or not. Now, the oversight is a bigger issue. The airlines, if you ask them how many times in the board meetings do they discuss the balance sheet, that is maybe every 5 minutes. But how many times do they discuss safety in the board meetings? Maybe once, or maybe in a board meeting for a few minutes. So safety has become a thing of which is mandated by the regulator, not to implement it in the true sense. So ultimately, what happens is that operations and commercials take over. So the normal thinking is that
Yes.
we have to run the airline. So that philosophy is not correct. DGCA as a regulator has empowered safety. That is why the head of safety is appointed or selected also by DGCA. There's an interview, there's a selection process. Because the role of the regulator is now delegated to the chief of safety. That is a very important role. And the chief of safety also reports to the board of directors of the airline. So the airlines are basically undermining safety by not listening to the most important person who is in charge of safety, and rather going as per the balance sheet requirements. So this has to be brought back to the true sense by means of instilling confidence in the head of safety and projecting him to be a very important position. Normally, if you see, the head of safety will be somebody who is not flying, not in active flying, or who is medically down, or who's retired, which means you're not giving that much importance to safety. And a person who's the head of operations is mostly in the limelight. So if that is the way safety is governed, so we'll end up with more and more accidents. Now, we have a blinkered vision to safety. which means we want to do the bare minimum which is desired by the regulator or ICAO. And prime example is the Kozhikode airport, wherein they have earned 200 crores in 2018 as revenue, but they haven't invested a penny towards safety. Now, it is a tabletop runway, night operations. The requirement is that if you have centerline lights, the pilot will be more aware, situational awareness is greater. Why hasn't it been installed? Because the IQ Annex 19 doesn't mandate it, it recommends it. So everybody would say that it is a recommendation. Why should we install? But IQ also says that if your runway lights are more than 50 meters spaced, in Kozhikode they are 60 meters, you should have centerline lights. So that becomes a recommendation, so nobody accepts. And similarly, approach lights, which are very important. You have something called a black hole approach optical illusion, especially in Kozhikode. So that's a safety concern. So everybody goes as per what is the basic minimum requirement. You were talking about wide body operations. Now, on the sides of the runway,
let's just do the basic minimum requirement and then get out of it, because who will waste more time and effort into anything more? Anything which is not mandatory, anything which is not compulsory, which is not directly linked to our business or existence, doesn't need to be done. Grievance redressal system, I find that very shocking. Captain Amit Singh, if pilots have an issue to raise, at the end of the day, as a passenger, I am putting my life in the hands of the pilot. I believe that the pilot will take the right decision at the right time in my interest and not in the company's interest. Now, if they want to raise their voice, if the company is not going to be listening to them, does the DGCA not? Is there no proper process for that?
Well, yes, as I said, to check the box, just to tick the box, they have a process of anonymous reporting or voluntary reporting. But how does that work? They have given an email ID of a senior DGC official. Now, if you give an email ID, it no longer remains anonymous. We have anonymous reporting system in other countries wherein it is a process wherein the identity is not disclosed if the person desires so. But here we have a simple email ID, just write to the email ID. But that is not a confidence building measure. Now, the safety culture which prevails in India does not promote voluntary reporting. So one of the biggest issues in generating a safety culture is reporting culture. Now, unless people start reporting voluntarily without fear, the trust will not build. So that is the common crux, the safety culture. Now, the regulator does not trust the operator does not trust the pilots do not trust both of them. So there is no trust. They never know who will bite another one behind the back. So developing trust is the biggest thing, and just culture is what prevails in aviation, which means everybody can do a mistake, an honest mistake. So you have to differentiate between an honest mistake and a willful violation. Here, in terms of the regulator seeing it, they have no differentiation. Like in 2019, about 45 pilots were suspended for violations. The root cause was something else. But just to crack the whip and show that we have done some work, regulator decided to suspend people for 3 months, for 1 year. For what reason? Without giving a reason, without the proper investigation being completed, they were suspended. Now the pilot thinks that, okay, 3 months or 6 months, I will stay quiet rather than taking it up in the court, wherein it will be there for years on end, or filing a complaint or redressal system, or going through the redressal system if there is any. Now, the time is the biggest issue. The pilots, if they sit on ground, lose money because majority of their income is in terms of allowances, flying allowances. So, of course, the regulator knows that. So 3 months, which means it pinches somebody too. So that is the way people are punished here. Now, just culture is prevailing on papers. So everything is there on paper to show the international bodies, yes, but
Right.
practically nothing is being implemented because people at the helm of it do not understand. Now, I have a simple question that if safety devices, safety implements are so expensive, that is what the perception is amongst the regulators and other policymakers. Has anybody even thought of
Right.
calculating the cost of an accident? Now, there is a way of calculating the cost of a diversion, cost of an accident. There are insured cost and uninsured cost. Insured, you get money, which the minister is also saying that aircraft is insured. Uninsured costs are between 5 to 10 times the insured cost, which nobody knows. It seems so, the policymakers, because they are unaware. So your loss of production, the brand image takes a hit, loss of man days, overtime, and you have to pay extra payouts or insurances, compensations. So it is an international, the figure is internationally available in health and safety regulations. So to avoid that, good companies invest a lot in safety so that people do not fall sick, people do not get hurt, and if they invest in their people, they will further take care of the
Okay.
passengers. That is a generic.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Captain.